I don't know. I'm to the point where box art wise,
now recording
everything else, I'm just not there yet. Except for the first party stuff, obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna be probably day one and first party stuff mostly.
That's been me with the Switch for 4 years.
I think
maybe longer.
Brand's got the right idea. I think I'll just buy the Switch versions that are usually complete on card, and there's some that you can do the upgrade path to victory, and I'm just gonna do that. They're just gonna be game key cards anyway, so.
I mean, they're gonna
like
support
Dragon
this
Quest.
thing. Yeah, they're gonna support this thing foreseeably for the next 3-4 years.
Oh,
well, I mean,
the Switch.
3 to 4. Yeah. They're gonna be released. Well, shit. There's still games that are releasing PS4 versions. So,
have the big ones dropped them yet? Like Warzone and Apex and Fortnite. Are there still PS4 versions of all those?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the only difference is I think one of those are going away. I think no. I think you're right. Right now, that nobody's announced anything's going away in those 3 major ones.
Yeah. I mean, when they go, that's an important factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
When your whales, what are the farmers of the whales? What are those called?
I don't know.
The fishermen, the whale fishermen. Los whales. Oh man, I was gonna share some. We're live. I was gonna share some news with y'all.
Unlive yourself.
I can wait. I don't want to do that actually. Not right now. Unlive. I would unlive all of us. It would be a group unliving, like we're drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're drinking Kool-Aid here.
My coworker
I'll gladly chug the Kool-Aid.
My coworker was talking about that earlier. Oh god, yeah. My coworker was joking about that earlier about uninstalling himself. I was like, uninstalling yourself. So what's happening?
Uninstall, roll back firmware,
roll back.
Put me
code
in the trash bin and hit empty recycle.
Damn. I mean, one of my devices broke 20 years ago. I wouldn't mind going back into Device Manager and getting those drivers reactivated. Oh, Renee's here. We can start. What's up, Renee?
Renee,
how are you? Is Renee jumping on the Switch too? All right, I've got dual overlays. There's a new thing for Discord, I guess. I've got us in Discord, I've got us in OBS, and I've got like a preview window in the corner of both. There's 3. I'm looking at 3 images of all of us. Oh.
Truly the darkest timeline.
Yeah, it's something with the OBS overlay. All right, I moved it and it seems like it. Okay, I think that's what it was. I think it was bleeding over, like it was too far into the screen on the right side and it was bleeding over some data on the left side for some reason because it's not there now. Renee's good. He's tired of raking in the dough. Tired of drinking non-taurine beverages.
Oh, you still upset about that?
No, I've done it. I've done the deed. I mean, I still have some energy drinks to finish because I've paid for them, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not a daily driver. And I had, I mean, do we wait till we're actually live for the matcha update?
It's up to you.
we are live.
I mean, we're live, but we're not like, this isn't going to be it's not going to be in the iTunes audio segment.
Do we need a live matcha update?
Now recording. No, I don't think so. I don't think our fans are clamoring for this. I got the big packet Costco that I sent you guys. I tried it in water. It's good. I didn't hate it. And I also tried it in milk. McKee style. I mix it up in milk. And I don't know if I need it.
It's kind of like a concentrated green tea. I mean, that's basically
much better in water than milk. The milk was not great when I had it. I was
well, when you do to actually make a matcha latte, you mix it in like like 2 ounces of water. And traditionally, it's like you sift it, you mix it in about 2 ounces,
Yeah.
2 to 3 generous scoops. Like generals, like almost like with a milk frother or something, you can like
I did
froth
that.
it up.
I did
and
that
then
part.
Add it to the milk.
Yeah. It
And
said
then,
half a
yeah, you add it to
teaspoon
the milk
with
and-
8 ounces. And I did that with water and I did it with milk. And the milk was like, it was a weird taste.
See, but I add sweetener to it too, and to me, it's like literally if I do an iced matcha latte, it's like drinking melted green tea ice cream.
Okay.
That's what it tastes like.
I need to add that to it then. Snafu says
I don't
new
know
Battlefield game is fun. Battlefield?
New Battlefield.
Are you playing Battlefield? Should we be
some
playing
people were in
Battlefield?
that.
Go live.
Some people were in that beta.
Yeah. I'm about to say they went live with that beta, and I actually have been hearing good things. So,
oh shit!
Like a return to form for Battlefield.
True Andy
Mrs. Buish dabbled with the matcha for a little bit. Yeah, it was not bad. I didn't hate it. I'm trying to get rid of the taurine.
It works, man. It perks you up.
The taurine?
And when I mix it with water. I mean, you know what I mean, the matcha.
I know. I had to drop back to that. Yeah, I'm trying to shake it too. I love energy drinks. Matcha was not bad. Don't ask questions. Okay, send us a link. Come on, Snafu, hook us up. KT says, what about chai? I haven't tried chai. Snafu says, I cannot confirm or deny. Is there an NDA? I might have fucked up. My bad, Snafu. Do y'all know if there is one of those things?
I don't know, because there's been some information already coming out, but I haven't heard any actual details.
Yeah. Renee walks to include his workout. He's been walking to the gym. Those of us who were here for last week's episode know that a certain individual may or may not be on the show had to take them to the gym.
Yeah, and somebody was walking the neighborhood and missed the gym trip originally.
the early gym bus.
Mm-hmm.
Snafu says just sign up for labs. Okay, something we need to look into. KT says Earl Grey. There's so many T's. There is an NDA. All right, my bad. I hope I didn't get you in hot water. I don't think I did. If so, put your hot water in some Earl Grey tea. There we go. We made it full circle. Or some matcha. Is it matcha or matcha? Because it's a matcha. And the Japanese leaf or wherever it's farmed from is a whole nother...
Uji.
Do y'all see this on Discord? It says I'm playing OBS Studio. Do y'all see that on Discord? Can y'all see the game I'm playing is OBS Studio?
Huh. That's interesting.
I just noticed that.
11 minutes in that game.
Do you want me to invite you to the fun I'm having?
Played.
Yeah, it'll be my most played for the year.
Your most game of 2025.
Game of the year, OBS Studio settings.
The beat system settings, man. Nintendo DS, 3DS.
Man, all up in those system settings. They have in-person testing. All right, we need to find this. Friend of the show, Mark's name would freak out if he was in some Battlefield. Y'all know he's our resident Battlefield expert. And Sea of Thieves. Are those adjacent genres? Is that the crossover we're waiting for?
No, you know it.
Sea of Thieves is just a sea of military dudes. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Now recording. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 351 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and energy drink alternate recommendation podcast. That's right. Get rid of taurine. It's bad for you. Recently discovered. What will the 20 years of taurine ingestion do to me? Find out in, 500 more episodes, 600 more episodes.
Sounds all right.
Yeah, it'll be a few years down the road. Tonight's news: EA cancels Black Panther game. It's not good. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D, and Pokemon Legends Z-A get release dates. No comma. Beware, Switch 2 is in the wild? ? What, Breath of the Wild? And last but not least, we have your PlayStation Days of Play deals and announcements. Come for the Days of Play, stay for the PlayStation. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by none other than our resident newsmaster, Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, how are you?
I'm here.
Brant, what is your preferred energy drink alternative? We know you don't drink coffee. That's well established on the show.
Don't drink coffee.
You do drink coffee. Okay, I'm sorry.
I said I don't drink coffee.
I'm sorry, I was correct. You don't drink coffee. You do not dabble in the dark arts of the cacao bean.
Oh, this is roller coaster ride right here.
Tried it. Not a big fan.
Not a big fan?
Not a big fan.
But you can come around to matcha.
But say, yeah, discovered matcha, and
matcha's your jam.
Matcha's pretty good. If I need a little caffeine bump.
Also here is our resident soundboard master and lore master, Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome. We got a Zelda opening the chest or / finding the item soundboard clip there. Cesar, did you burn through all your Celsius that you had stocked up on a couple weeks ago?
I mean, luckily I had finished through them when I read the announcement.
Yeah.
So I never went back to the store and purchased any.
I have a small stock of energy drinks that I'm still trying to work through. So there's been, I think, did we talk about this last week, or was that off the recording?
That was out there.
I don't know.
Now recording. There's a study out there saying that a key ingredient in multiple energy drinks is can cause some issues. So we're not a medical podcast. Do not come to us for medical advice, please God. But do that research if that's something you want to look into and see if that's something you need to avoid.
I think what it said was what they found was, and this is only for people who already have blood cancer. Now it doesn't give it to you.
Oh God!
They didn't say that. They said apparently people who have blood cancer who ingested taurine accelerated the growth of said blood cancer. In their studies. So
in studies, remember we are not a medical podcast.
So
drink at your own risk.
The theory is if it accelerates it, then possibly would not be good by itself, but
beneficial.
Cannot confirm or deny
for those without blood cancer already. Correct?
Yeah,
maybe. Read the studies, come up with your own decision. 3 of us are pivoting away from energy drinks to matcha.
I don't know, Brand, were you ever there?
Brand's drinking coffee.
I mean, I've only had energy drinks a few times in my life.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Brant, what are your vices?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Smoking?
I don't know. No smoking.
Famicom Disk System games.
That might be one.
Video games can be listed as a fun.
Random bullshit.
Renee in the chat says everything kills you.
Everything kills you.
That might be a good episode title. Everything kills you. Thank you.
One day I'll be reaching over here for a copy of Days Gone, and all the copies just fall over and crush me.
The days will be gone.
Finally done in by Days Gone By.
Speaking of which, how are you enjoying your new Steam Deck boot animation? Brought to you by Days Gone.
I mean, it did look nice.
So my key takeaway from that was that it said celebrating Days Gone recent DLC release, and I'm like, wait, what? There's DLC for Days Gone? Brant, are you gonna give us? Are we skipping ahead to games played at this point? Or are we gonna wait until games played until you check it?
I mean, I thought they were marketing it as a re-release, not DLC.
It was like Broken. Is it called Broken Roads or The Broken Roads or something like that? Is it not? So what happened to Sony Bend? Are they still making stuff?
I don't know. Well, not Days Gone, apparently.
Everything
They're supposed to be working on something.
They were making a live service game, and that got canceled, and they were supposed to be pivot to something else after that. And they just didn't say what it was.
Were they the ones that was supposed to be working on the or they were supposed to be working on like the multiplayer God of War thing?
It was on one of those ones that they announced that they canceled. They were on that.
Okay.
Because a lot of people were upset because they said they were making a game after Days Gone, and it sounded like all they were doing was working on that live service game that they put all those hours in. That got canceled.
Are they going to end up being similar to like a what's the studio? Ready at Dawn. Like they needed a second crack at that formula.
Oh.
I know. We all want a new Order 1886, but did Bend warrant a next Days Gone with your experience with it, Brant? Your 250 hours in the game.
I don't know. I've never played it, but I mean, a lot of people said that it's actually really good. That being said, did you see the article about the Order sequel?
I have not.
So
what was that about?
There was going to be a sequel. They actually had 2 planned sequels.
Damn.
But because
One for Vita?
of the not for Vita, I guess. But at least it doesn't say.
Remote play Vita?
Yeah, you could definitely remote play it. Remote play is always an option. So it was in development and would have featured larger battles and a multiplayer element.
Multiplayer Order? Like a co-op campaign, maybe? Or some sort of online multiplayer component. Like a competitive, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
The creator wrote like a 10-page pitch for the game, would have included bigger fights, multiplayer. Multiplayer was in development for the first game before being shelved for the sequel.
Less QTEs, probably.
Yeah, 2 sequels were planned in the franchise. The Order 1891 and the Order 1899.
God, that's such a great naming convention and everything. That would have been perfect.
They'd already planned where the franchise was set to go, and written stories for the Order franchise.
I might have to play through this
in the 20th century.
Oh, damn.
As well.
Because they're immortal, right? Once they start drinking that stuff, they're immortal.
Mm-hmm.
The Knights of the Round. The Knights of the Order.
And that's pretty much the meat and potato. The rest of it is like, Ready at Dawn previously worked on PSP games like Daxter and Chains of Olympus and Ghost of Sparta.
Oh, that's right. They did the God of War ones too.
And the God of War Origins collection.
Yep.
And then got sold and, then got closed by Oculus.
Facebook closed them. And they had a really good, I think it was called Echo something, but they had a really good arena movement, like a handball. It's like a handball, zero gravity handball type game for the Oculus. That was a lot of fun. I played the free version of that. I didn't buy the actual game. I would love for Ready at Dawn to come back, or them, I don't know. We have a long list of Sony IP that we would resurrect, right, at this point. And that's just one of many on the list.
I don't know how the Order got panned so bad. I mean, I guess some of the fights wound up being kind of samey, but I mean, honestly, for being a very early PS4 game, it was amazing and it looked beautiful. And I remember when I played it on PS5, was that 2 years ago now, just revisiting it, it still looked great. It still felt great.
Yeah.
And it was so imaginative with like all the guns and everything that they had.
So they showed Cesar, myself, and friend of the show, Mark's Night, were at one of those E3. Was it the E3 of Dreams, Cesar, when they did Shenmue and Final Fantasy VII Remake and all that, when they announced all that stuff?
Sounds right. Yeah.
And they showed the first, we didn't know anything about And Horizon, that's when Horizon was unveiled too, I believe. We didn't know anything about the Order. And they went straight into gameplay, and you're in a battle with the werewolf, and you're jumping across. It was like a kitchen scene, like the Jurassic Park kitchen scene.
Mm-hmm.
You're jumping across the tables, and the werewolf's all over you, and it looked like something you couldn't get anywhere else. You couldn't play this on PS3. This was not an Xbox thing. It just and Sony at the time was firing on all cylinders. This was after the debacle of the Xbox One unveiling and PlayStation doing the sharing a game video and all that stuff. And everything was going great for them. And the Order was like that first bit of bad for some reason. And all of us, anybody who's played it, we all agree it's a phenomenal game.
It's a good game.
Yeah. And I don't know what was expected. I don't know what people thought it was gonna be, but it exceeded my expectations. Yeah, I didn't like the QTE battles, but God of War had just done a whole bunch of those, and that was kind of a standard at the time, right? I think it would be another 5 or 6 years before the whole QTE fatigue thing would go away. But that was like one of the first bad press PS4 games, and I'm like, why would you pick this one? This game is phenomenal. I think Cesar beat it in either a day or a weekend or one sitting or something. Like, he got the platinum and it was immediate when it came out. We all got it. Mark's and I picked it up. I grabbed the collector's edition. That universe, just what they sculpted was just incredible. And I would love to go back into it. It's one of those where we've talked about this game a lot over the years, right? This is one of our podcast titles, and even the previous members of the podcast, Mark's Knight and Micmac in real life, I guess is what his screen name is now. But everybody's a fan of the Order 1886. Anybody who's played it has sung its praises since then. And I would like, where I was getting with this, like, I would like anything in that universe. An anime series, comic book, I don't know, like who's it that does the procedurally story-based? The Telltale, like a Telltale one of those, like just more in that universe that they opened the door of. The original game gave you such an introduction to that lore and the concepts behind it and the enemies and just everything that was going to be about, and then set so much up for the future, and then that door got closed. So it's just an unfulfilled promise, like maybe a Star Wars A New Hope that never got anything after that, like it bombed, like people said the special effects sucked, and then we never got anything else out of Star Wars, right? It was just this one thing. I kind of feel like the Order was headed to that magnitude. It would have been one of those tentpole franchises, I think.
Easily.
Yeah. All right, that's non-news, but Brant, thank you for throwing that in there. Let's get into the actual news we presented. EA cancels Black Panther game and closed its studio Cliffhanger Games. This comes from Chris Scullion at VideoGamesChronicle.com. According to a report from IGN, the publisher has shut down Cliffhanger Games and is attempting to place affected staff in other roles across the company. The report says EA will also be laying off other staff on its mobile and central teams in a round of layoffs separate to those last month, which saw 300 to 400 staff laid off across EA, including 100 at Apex Legends studio Respawn Entertainment. The publication was forwarded in an email sent to staff from EA Entertainment president Laura Miele, which says the cancellation of the Black Panther game is part of EA's effort to, quote, sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities, end quote. Miele's email also says EA Entertainment, which is a separate division to EA Sports, will focus mainly on Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex Legends going forward, though development will also continue on Motive's Iron Man game and Respawn's third Star Wars Jedi game. Cliffhanger Games was formed in 2021 and led by Kevin Stevens, who was boss of Warner's Monolith during development of Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor and Middle-earth: Shadow of War. In addition to leaders from those games, Cliffhanger's team included veterans of franchises including Halo, the aforementioned God of War, and Call of Duty, according to EA. Blah, blah, blah. Black Panther, blah, blah, blah. Early in development, blah, blah, blah. This sucks. What do you guys think? Like maybe they weren't able to monetize it in the current way that games are needing
I don't know,
to be monetized?
because they still have a few other Marvel properties that they were supposed to be bringing to life. And I think one of them is Iron Man, and I can't remember what the other one is, but I think those are still planned, it seems like. So I don't know if this was so early in development that they just said, look, we do not have the budget to keep going with this, and we're so unsure about this, we're just going to go ahead and scrap it. Or maybe it's the other way, where they've got something, they've been working on it, because this got announced 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, that
we
they
were
doing
excited about
this.
it when we read that news. We were pumped.
Yeah.
So I can help you out with this one. This was posted by Bloomberg. Black Panther was canceled because it was still in pre-production after 4 years, but the studio had only just begun scaling up. The game would have used an evolution version of the Nemesis system and would have featured multiple playable heroes. That was it.
Oh, the evolution system. That's what that guy was going to bring from Monolith Studios with those two Lord of the Rings games.
Oh, but yeah, after 4 years, and they're just sitting there going, yeah, we'll get you something soon to look at.
Correct me if I'm wrong. EA Motive, is that the Dead Space studio? Did they do that Dead Space remaster?
Yeah.
Okay. Or remake? It's not a remaster; it's a remake, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think before that,
pivoted to Iron Man.
Before that, I think they were doing like what EA Play or whatever that shit was back in the PS3 days.
I think I had an EA Play for the PSP, like a collection of old games. Are we talking about the same thing?
Might be getting mixed up. But this one's like that sports thing.
Oh, okay. Like when everybody was coming out with a Wii Sports or Kinect Sports or Sports Champion, that sort of thing. EA Move?
It might have been EA Move or something.
What was
like
that thing called? You had it was the first like leg strap thing, like you get with Nintendo Sports, whatever they call that thing. EA Motive.
I don't know. Let's continue. We don't have to sit there.
Yeah. I would like to have seen what a Black Panther game looked like. I think that's a pretty solid franchise.
But I was wrong. Let's see. According to this, Richard, they developed Star Wars Battlefront 2, which a lot of people jumped on recently. And
like a support studio with DICE. Hey, do we need to check out? Yeah. Cesar brings up a good point. I see a lot of people are playing Battlefront 2. Do we jump in there?
Person just logged into Xbox. They're all in Battlefront 2, and I was like, damn, something happened.
What?
Yeah.
Is it free on Game Pass? I have it for PS4, so I guess we can play on PS5. But is it free? It was like somewhere? I have that same.
I read an article somewhere where they said that the player count's the highest it's ever been in like the last 4 or 5 years or something like that.
Yeah. I guess it kind of corresponds with the current season of what's that, Endor? And so maybe
so Star Wars is just riding a high.
I'm about to say maybe that increase in Endor is bringing people to, they're trying to figure out, where can I kind of get some of that content to play.
Yeah, here we go. It's actually a piece right here in Wikipedia. Resurgence. In May 2025, player count popularity of the Battlefront 2 increased suddenly. This was attributed to the final season of Brand alluded to and Andor. The 20th anniversary re-release of Revenge of the Sith in movie theaters, and a new Fortnite season themed around Star Wars, buoyed by a community-wide call to play the game on May 24th, dubbed Resurgence Day. The player count on Steam surged to almost 20,000 players, significantly exceeding the previous all-time peak of 10,000 concurrent players.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. I actually kind of like the reasoning behind that. Resurgence of Star Wars? content.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars Resurgence.
Now recording Star Wars.
The version we all want to play of Resurgence.
Oof. Should we try out Battlefront? Do we stream some Battlefront?
What do we have to lose?
If we get Mark's night back.
Play a couple matches. Yeah, play a couple.
Mark's night has to be in it. Yeah.
Or a
play a couple matches. If we hate it, jump to something else. You know. What do we?
Is it cross-platform? Is that before all the cross-platform nonsense?
I don't know. I feel like that's something EA's big enough they could have added that, right?
It is. I mean, it is an EA joint. Let me see if it's part of that. EA
do the research.
Play stuff here on Game Pass.
Brand, I see the top popular.
It might already be.
Go ahead.
It says Battlefront 2. Unfortunately, we do not have any plans for bringing the cross-platform play to Star Wars Battlefront 2. It would have to be all on Xbox.
All right, is it free to play on Xbox for Buish? Can we get a copy of Battlefront 2 cheap on Xbox?
It could be on Game Pass. Yeah, it is part of EA, right?
You guys are doing the Lord's work here. Brant, the number one article on VGC at this time is the Concord developer version of the game going to Goodwill. Did you want to speak on that?
Battlefront, Uno, Dos, and Star Wars Squadrons
are all on Game Pass?
Are all on Game Pass via that EA Now or EA Play Now or whatever it's called.
All right. Is that the play for tomorrow?
Could be. We just got to make sure it's downloaded onto the systems.
My night opened up tomorrow, so I'm down for that if that's the case.
It says it's installing in my console now.
It's just already pushed it to it.
Mm-hmm.
No cross-platform play. All right.
So we're playing that version of Battlefront 2 and not.
Oh, don't show me that one. I don't like that one. I don't like that one anyways. It's not as good as the first one. I'll die on that hill. I didn't like the ability as playing as heroes. I thought it was stupid.
Well, that's also in this new one that we'll play tomorrow. So
I'm out.
Pretty sure.
Get 10 kills, get to play as Vader. Brant, do you want to touch on the Concord developer donating there? That might be the whole news.
Well, people don't know. She was part of like the art direction or some part of that, plus acquisitions and development in some way. But yeah, that was hilarious. That's a piece of Sony history and Firewalk history. A plaque featuring congratulations, Concord is gone gold, is releasing, had a picture of like the box art, the Ultra Blu-ray disc in there, a placard with the name of the employee, and it's at Goodwill.
Shopgoodwill.com.
I think it's being bid on by several people, and it's like $3,000 or $4,000 or $3,000 or $4,000. $3,000 or $4,000.
But those are joke bids, right? That's a whole.
I heard somebody say.
History, I guess.
I heard somebody say, "Is this thing gonna be like the most profitable piece of Concord?"
Brant, no, ever. Too soon.
Considering Sony like literally reimbursed and bought back discs from stores and gave people refunds that bought it digitally and
listeners over the past 6 months will recall that I was sent 2 copies and
sold on it.
Refunded a copy. I spent $0 on 2 copies of Concord. And they were selling for a decent amount, and then it came crashing down. So they're pretty much MSRP at this point if you want a coaster for your PS5 collection. Speaking of coasters, Brant, I don't like Ultra HD Blu-ray size coasters. I would like my coaster to be a Nintendo Switch cartridge.
Bite-sized? Bitter and bite-sized?
Bitter bite-sized cartridge coaster.
Well, do I have the thing for you? Because
what might that be? And should I potentially buy the Switch 1 version of said title?
We've got 2 different games here that got a October release. First up, Square Enix announced that the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake is, surprise, surprise, coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
Shocker.
Considering that's when we saw it, was in that Switch 2 like sizzle.
That's
reel
when they
or
first
whatever.
showed it off, right? And then we've seen it in every show since then.
But it's of course it's getting a Switch 2 version. That will be a game key card. Of course, it's also going to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, OG Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Do we have a path to victory?
I don't know. I'm looking to see here. I don't see anything about it.
I have Dragon Quest 3, which is friend of the show McLeod would elaborate more on this, but they're in Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. 3 is actually the prequel. So that's the first one they came out with when they remastered these in HD. So you can still get that one before you go into 1 and 2, and you'll be fine.
It's technically the order to play them in. Yeah. But it is releasing October 30th, 2025.
And there's a collector's edition for $150. Holy shit. Includes a physical copy of the game, acrylic figures of in-game sprites, and digital content.
Oh gosh, there's pre-order bonuses.
3
for
seeds.
The digital version.
3 seeds of strength. What the fuck are these seeds? Batteries!
Seeds. Yeah,
seeds!
It's your nightmare.
So that's how you want more seeds? You want seeds of magic?
We're excited about the one pair of elevating shoes and anything else.
Oh, will you please fit me for one pair of elevating shoes?
I got 4 people in my squad, and why can't I only get one pair?
I pre-ordered one. I only get one.
You just have one person taller than everybody.
I got to pre-order it 4 times to get the whole squad fitted.
Pretty much.
That's worse than getting the keycard version.
Did y'all see that weird thing about keycards saying don't get a strong magnet near it because it could damage the keycard?
Yeah, this is a joke now, man. This is a fucking joke.
I'm sorry, the one pair of elevating shoes got me.
The elevating shoes have magnets in them, so
one pair of elevating shoes.
Richard's dying at elevating shoes.
It's a pre-order bonus for the digital version only. I skipped past. I saw the 3 seeds, and I skipped past the one pair of elevating shoes. Oh shit!
So we get Dragon Quest
in the game.
I don't know.
Is it like good for the introduction? Like, are you me? I'm with Cesar. Are you gonna find more elevating shoes for the rest of the party, or are you just stuck? You have to get
it's purchasable. You have to go to a local Nike in the game. What are we doing here?
Oh, my side hurts. That one got me. Oh shit.
But we get I guess Dragon Quest at the end of the month there in October, and
what else?
Earlier in the month.
What else do we get
October 16th? We get Pokemon Legends ZA.
Elevating Pokemon. Ooh.
The Switch. So they did also say that the Switch 2 will have higher resolution graphics.
One would hope.
They showed off the box art for both versions.
How do you like that box art,
like Richard? And what Richard alluded to is if you look at the Switch version compared to the Switch 2 version, the Switch 2 version is definitely much more cluttered. So I'll go 1 with everything on the cart, and 2 with the much cleaner box art, and continue buying the Switch versions of games. And I would assume this one will be one of those that has the upgrade path.
Yeah, I think, Brant, you're right. I think so far Sega's the only one that's come out and confirmed what doesn't have upgrade path. I think that's what people have been doing versus
Do we know what that
Confirming there's
costs?
one, I'm assuming.
We know yet what that cost looks like? Because I watched that Mario Party Jamboree trailer. $10.
It's basically gonna be. I think presumably it's gonna be about the same. So like,
I've seen random prices for certain ones. So yeah, like $5 for one, and it's weird. The pricing's all weird.
It might be all over the place, but I think presumably people are thinking like if you buy the like the Pokemon Legends, if you buy that and it's, you know, $60 and they price it at 70, you know, for the Switch 2 version, you'll probably be paying $10 to upgrade that Switch version.
Yeah.
And I would hope that they'd do
one pair
this.
of Pokeballs.
I would hope that they'd continue to do this for a while, because at this point we have 9 days, or no, not even. We have 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
We're close. As the recording of this, and we do not know. Yeah, we do not know how that launch is going to look. More than likely, they're going to sell out. So I think they know that people are still going to need or want the Switch version if they can't get a hold of the Switch 2, and then maybe they go, okay, well, eventually we want them to buy a Switch 2, so let's give them an upgrade path for that game they just bought, you know, a month or 2 months ago.
Yeah. Do y'all have any circled that you think you would pay that upgrade path for, that you know? I think I've looked at Kirby of the Forgotten Lands.
I'll probably do Kirby
and the Mario Party. I think that I already have Jamboree, so and I'm getting a camera, so that could be some hijinks streaming with the camera.
True.
Mario Party.
The same as you. I think most of these upgrade path ones I own, so whatever requires a payment, I'll probably just be doing the upgrades, and then maybe look out for like the full physical releases for sale and cheap later down the road, like way down the road.
Yeah, at least with first party, you're not getting game key cards, right?
Yeah.
For now.
So they see a bunch of people buying these things, and they're like, "Oh, we can just do this." Then we're hosed on physical copies,
especially with the Dragon Quest thing, because that game is like 17 gigs, so it's not a big game.
I got the first one on Switch. I think I talked about this either last week or 2 weeks ago. But it was part of a buy two get one. Like that by far was the worst version of that game. I mean, it's still playable, but it was half the frame rate of every other platform. And I didn't play it. I knew that was that was not the one to play. That was not the one to experience that game with. And if they're doing this game keycard stuff, I'm even more or less inclined. Like, the Switch 2 was our big step up into the next generation. It was everything we wanted from the Switch, but with better capabilities and more on par with handheld PCs that we all play, or, you know, PS5 remote play. Like, there's a bunch of different arguments now on how to play games and where to play games than there was when the Switch first came out, right? And so far, some of these physical SKUs are not compelling arguments to get those versions, is what it comes down to. And if you're in, and the three of us will always say this, and we've said it since the show started, we have access to everything. We're different. We all know plenty of people, or people between the three of us, who are locked into a platform. They're locked into an ecosystem. So this will be great for them. All right. I'm glad to know that Dragon Quest 1 and 2 is coming to the Switch 2. I'm getting that. I had a Switch 1. I played the hell out of Dragon Quest 3 on the Switch 1. I can't wait for the next two on the next one. So it comes down to consumer choice, and it's good to have that choice, but I feel deterred a little bit that some of these are not the better place to play. I want to support these. I want to get the physical copy. I want to know it's on the cart, and it's not going to be unless you get the Switch 1 version, which... what does that look like? Did they outline that path to victory? So it's like, what does that look like? Are you going to get the better, you know?
I mean, we were all assuming here, like, I was under the impression, like Brant, that anything that was coming on both was going to get an upgrade path, and then like I've mentioned here earlier, the Sega thing threw me for a loop because I was 100% just going to buy Raiden and Switch and be like, all right, I'll pay the upgrade. And Sega came out, was like, yeah, we're not doing an upgrade for that. You have to buy the separate versions. I was like, oh, well, that sucks, because I think it was that one in Sonic Cross Shadow or Shadow Cross Sonic or whatever the fuck that game is. So.
And this is the weird. We're gonna know more in next week, right? We're gonna know more in 2 weeks. We're definitely gonna know more in 6 months. But right now, we're kind of wading through the weeds, kind of like we did when the Xbox Series consoles came out and the PS5 came out. When I buy Call of Duty, what's it gonna give me? Am I gonna get both versions? Am I gonna get one version? Do I have to pay $10? Like, you didn't know at that time.
You're absolutely right. And then what's crazy is that graph I sent you in our group chat. Like every one of those first launch titles coming out on the Nintendo Switch could all fit on a 64 gig card. Even this, even the Hitman game, Hitman came up like 40 gigs. Even though we know that game's gonna get updated constantly, and it's not even gonna be the same, but they could have fit that whole game on a 64 gig card. They said Hogwarts was 24 gigs. So.
And I brought this up before too. Give us the option. Make the digital one, but you're cutting out the retailers at this point. That's what's killing us.
Yeah. They wanted to have a SKU for the digital, or for all the retailers. Yeah. It was, physically and everything. They wanted to still have a presence.
And not undercut
they wanted
Target and Walmart and GameStop and Best Buy.
And they wanted a more cost-effective cart. So that's kind of that's the middle ground they came up with. But I mean, honestly, Nintendo can't help but get in their own way, because they did give us 256 gigs of onboard storage for the Switch 2. But what happens when you get the game key card for Call of Duty? Microsoft makes good on their Call of Duty promise,
which we don't know anything about yet still, right?
It's coming though. I mean, that the rumor
that's
is
a Warzone machine.
We need to know,
or that's a Call of Duty machine.
Yeah,
the rumor you cannot fit anything else
like
on
a Series S, right?
The rumor is that the Xbox stream is going to be a lot of Nintendo stuff on there. So,
what day is that? It's coming up, right? Next week.
2 days out. 2 days after the Switch 2 comes out, June 8th.
Okay.
So. Yeah, there's going to be games that come out that'll be way bigger for that to fit on that Nintendo Switch, and the storage at the moment with those express cards is still pretty expensive.
Yeah,
and I mean, with all the games at this point, aside from first party games not being on the card, you having to download them to the system, people are gonna get angry because you're gonna constantly have to delete something, put the card in, re-download. All right, now take this one out. Now, delete it. Now put the card in, re-download.
I mean, is that not what we do with disc-based consoles right now? Very similar concept, right?
But with the storage, I mean, the storage is way more manageable. And
unless you have a Series S, well, it's half the Series S, but it's half it's half to a quarter of the game installs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until we see Call of Duty. Warzone would be one good example, right? Or Fortnite.
Well, what was Outlaws? Star Wars Outlaws was like 100 and something
on Switch, also, or console.
Yeah. On console, there's no confirmation yet. We're just assuming it's going to be the same on Switch too.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get that version, but I also know like the Steam PC version is going to start dropping at some point. I'm kicking to myself for not getting that gold edition on PS5 when it was $35. It's back up to $100 everywhere. That would have been the one to go with. Or it comes out on Game Pass, right? With the EA integration.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft. That's what I meant. Why do I have EA as the sole Star Wars provider still? I remember when that news was fresh. Yeah, not anymore. Yeah, anybody can get their hands in the Star Wars universe. More Nintendo Switch news is from Andy Robinson at VGCVideoGamesChronicle.com. Nintendo Switch 2 is already in some users' hands, but a mandatory update means they can't be played. On Tuesday, this is 4 days ago, On Tuesday, a YouTube user posted a short video of them opening a retail Nintendo Switch 2 unit, which, based on the retailer packaging, was likely obtained early in the United Arab Emirates. According to the user, they are unable to actually play the Switch 2 console, however, because it requires an update to function before the official June 5th release date. Those of us who have played Animal Crossing since the GameCube know how to get around this. According to the user, a second person who has allegedly been able to obtain Switch 2 early is said to have sent proof of the news to news and deal aggregator Wario64. Quote, I have no permission to post pics, but can share that when they try to boot a Switch 1 game, a message prompts, quote, please connect to the internet and update your system, end quote, Wario wrote. According to Wario64's source, Switch 2 games cannot be booted without the mandatory update. If true, it means Switch 2 owners will need to connect their consoles to the internet before they can be used. However, it's also possible that physical games include the system update. VGC goes on to note, we will know in 10 days. Very, very soon, as of Tuesday. Third-party launch games include Split Fiction, Cyberpunk 2077, Civilization 7, Hogwarts Legacy, Street Fighter 6, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Sonic Cross Shadows Generations, and more. Donkey Kong Bonanza is due for release in July, with Drag X Drive also expected this summer. Nintendo Switch 2 versions of Pokemon Legends Z to A and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond are also due this year with no confirmed release dates. Man, they really padded the end of that article, didn't they?
Yeah.
We did not need that bit.
These things are already in the wild. There's a few people that have their hands on them, and they're going through just like settings and different things too, and showing off the system startup and everything like that. So
the unboxing, a little
bit of music when it boots up.
I did not see that part.
Yeah, somebody played the little when it loads up, and they play some little music.
How does it sound? Is it pretty good?
I gotta find it on Twitter again.
Okay,
I saw it on there, and it's like, oh, they brought some music back. It's not like playing constantly, but it is only when you boot it up. So
that's good. I mean, we all love the GameCube startup and Xbox and Dreamcast and PS2 and PS1, everything of that era. Saturn, all the Saturn tiles coming together. All right, Days of Play is upon us. Oof, that's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Days of Play. May 28th to June 11th. Take part in player activities, bonus PlayStation Plus content, exciting offers, and last but not least, heavy integration in PlayStation Stars. I made up that last piece. This comes from the PlayStation blog and Isabel Tomatis. The monthly games for June. I guess that's the big news, right? We're going to cover that immediately.
Yeah, there's several of the games that they're doing for the monthly update. Presumably they'll have more once it gets closer to the middle of June.
I sent it to you guys. So
sweet.
What's that?
That little child
startup.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I think it's the second video. The other one, I guess, they just pulled the Animal Crossing thing to get past that section you were talking about, Richard. They just changed the date to after the launch date, and
you have to, right?
Yeah.
There was stuff in that original GameCube Animal Crossing, because that was the first Nintendo console to use the built-in clock. So, like the Xbox used the hard drive, or the PlayStation used a memory card. PS2 used a memory card, and the CMOM battery on there. But the GameCube famously would, you wake up at midnight and there's a ghost there, or you did something on Halloween and it was some special thing. But you could manipulate the save date on your memory card to simulate these events, and you could skip around to July 4th or Halloween or whatever it was that you wanted to do. So I threw that out there, but I'm kind of impressed that somebody did that and skip past I guess it's not it's not like Windows time services, right? That's trying to authenticate with something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not hitting a server to, like you said, authenticate.
Right. You just if you set it up offline immediately and then set the date and then go from there, you're probably good. All right, PlayStation Plus June monthly games. You're gonna get starting May 28th, which is today as of this recording. No, 2 days ago as of this recording. You're going to get NBA 2K25 for PS5 and PS4. That's available June 3rd. Alone in the Dark, the 2024 version for PS5, available June 3rd. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk for PS5 and PS4, available June 3rd. Do y'all have a copy of that already? Bomb Rush Cyberpunk?
I do.
What do
I
you
think I
have
have it
on
on
Grant?
Steam.
PC copy?
Let's say my copy. Oh, here it is.
Brant has a copy.
PS5.
Brant has a PS5 copy. And last but not least, Destiny 2, The Final Shape for PS5 and PS4, available May 20. They crossed that out on the PlayStation blog, available May 30th.
30th.
Yeah. It was a live edit, right? Is Destiny 2 The Final Shape the final version of Destiny?
No, there's an expansion after that that's coming out, or they're going through right now.
I thought we were there. I thought we were finally there. On the
we had this conversation last week. They paid all that money. They're not gonna let that game go.
Yep.
It's still making them money, right? Do we try Destiny 2? I'm gonna throw that out there. Is that something we kick around and do? We tried doing this as a game club game. Wasn't that a game club game back in the day, Cesar? On the podcast?
Maybe. I played a little bit.
We all played the intro and then like kicked that soccer ball around. I think you kept playing with Mark's night.
Yeah, I got to the barn area, and that's like the intro part. So
yeah,
can if you want.
All right, here I'll pitch this. Saturday night we have a choice between Destiny 2, the latest content, the newest Halo Infinite content, and jumping into Marathon. Which Bungie property?
Halo Infinite.
Oh God, non-Bungie property. Shit, that's very telling.
You had me at Halo Infinite, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna play Halo Infinite again." I'm willing to try. I'm ready to get hurt again.
I will play some Super Fiesta. I love Super Fiesta.
I'm willing to go through that whole
one-shot mangler.
Yeah, I'm ready to go through all that again. It's been a minute. We were hurt, but it's been a minute. I think
I am too. Is tomorrow night a Halo stream? Everybody make sure Halo Infinite's updated.
Yeah, I think.
We're not doing Battlefield?
We didn't get invited to Battlefield.
Or not Battlefield, Battlefront.
Download both, and I'll reach out to Buish, and we'll set that up. Or we can all reach out to Buish. We're in a chat with Buish, aren't we?
All those games are Buish accessible.
Buish friendly. We need a Buish friendly catalog. Speaking of catalog, coming to your game catalog, which is via PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium /Deluxe. What is PlayStation Plus Deluxe?
The cheeseburger?
I don't know. Is that what they call it in France?
Cheese.
Yeah. Deluxe with cheese in France. Those members are going to get Another Crab's Treasure for PS5 on May 29th. Skull and Bones, Brant's favorite Ubisoft quadruple A title on PS5, available June 2nd. Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, not to be confused with The Final Shape. I don't even know what comes with the Legacy Collection. What is it, Cesar? Go ahead.
You know,
the Legacy Collection.
It's the Legacy.
Is like everything before it's everything before the Final Shape, the base game, all the expansions, and then the Final Shape was supposed to be the last expansion, and then you have this. We keep talking about fucking Destiny 2.
The next to Final Shape.
Who knows?
So if I look it up I'll look it up for you guys. Something. Yeah. Let's see, Destiny 2. So we can just stop this from happening.
The madness. The Destiny 2 build madness. I feel like World of Warcraft did this for a number of years. Mm-hmm. Oh, but you need to be on WoW Classic, or you need to have...
It's called Destiny 2 Year of Prophecy.
Okay, that's the most recent expansion?
That is the current one we're on now. This is $100 just for the new year, for the Ultimate Edition.
Ooh. Does that give you everything before that? Because that's not bad if that includes all the content.
Pre-order now to get access to both expansions, Destiny 2 The Edge of Fate and Destiny 2 Renegades, plus reward pass access to the new raid, Epic Raid, and dungeons all upon release. I think this is just for the new stuff, but you get all the pass access immediately unlocked.
Okay. In addition to Destiny 2 Legacy Collection, which Cesar just rattled off what you get from that, you also get Grand Theft Auto 3, the Definitive Edition for PS4 and PS5, available June 10th.
Then on the very bottom, there's a copyright for it that says Star Wars 2025 Lucasfilm. Don't know what that means.
In Destiny?
Yeah. So I'm assuming something Star Wars related is in there too. So
it's a weird crossover, right? Whatever, who knows? Classics catalog available on June 5th for PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe members. I still don't understand Deluxe. Go ahead, Cesar. I'm not gonna steal your thunder. I said I would help you with this.
I'm not gonna play them. It's Myst and Riven.
I'm gonna play them. I have the guide. Myst. Riven, the sequel to Myst. Is the next one Exile, the sequel to Riven?
These are all, I'm assuming, both PS1 games, right? If you remember correctly, Richard.
Yeah, Myst and Riven are PS1, and Exile is PS2 and Xbox.
So these are PS1 games. It's just a lot of people were like, "This is the shit they give us for classics." That's what everybody was talking about on Twitter.
Myst 4. I can't remember the subtitle. Myst 4. 3 is Exile.
Do we need to? I mean, I got a feeling we're just going to end up. It's going to end up on here anyway, so we don't have to worry about researching any of the Myst lore.
For some reason, I want to say it's Evolution or Revolution, Myst 4, but I don't know right offhand. Game trials. You get to try out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That is the second one. And you get to try out Sid Meier's Civilization 7. That would be the 7th iteration of Sid Meier's Civilization.
Civ 7.
Yeah, Civ 7. Switch to Classic. Playable via any USB mouse. Doesn't have to be the main one. Or the Joy-Con version.
Joy-Con mouse.
I'm not talking about PlayStation tournaments. We never have before. I'm not going to cover that now. And we have your PlayStation Days of Play deals. These include, in the United States and Canada, PS5 console, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, digital and standard, will be available starting at $399.99 US.
Pretty good.
Yeah. A savings of $119.99 US. In select regions as Europe and Asia, the PS5 console, digital and standard, will be on promotion starting at regional currencies $399.99, $339.99, and $65.980. I will not even pretend to know whether those are pounds, euros, or whatever that last one is.
It's yen. The last one is yen.
Yen, okay.
Pounds is in the middle. Euros is the first one.
Euros is the first one.
$50 off USD.
$50 off PS5 Pro consoles. There will also be offers for PS5 accessories and games, including $50 off PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation VR 2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundles. We all have PlayStation VR 2s at this point. I need to reconfirm that mine works. I'm sure I'm past the return date, but I can at least give it a go. Everything worked last time I checked it. $30 US dollars off of Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds, $30 off DualSense Edge wireless controller, $20 off Access controller, which is very similar to, what did Microsoft call that thing? It's a very inclusive, customizable controller for pretty much any type of need, whether it's a touch or don't they have like a blow integration, like you could blow for certain movements and things like that? And
it uses analog connectors, so you can do anything that supports that. So if it's a custom controller or anything that uses analog, it's able to communicate and associate it to a button for that console to respond to that game. So
I love these things, and I love that both console makers have made these things at this point. Nintendo, you're up. $20 off DualSense wireless controllers. I let friend of the show Caleb know that those were indeed on sale. He was balking as a new PS5 adopter. He was balking at the $70 price tag for a brand new controller, which is a barrier of entry if you're getting a PS5. And various discounts on multiple PS5 first-party titles, including Astrobot, MLB The Show 25, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, which I might get for $29.99. And Lego Horizon Adventures. You can also save on extending your PlayStation Plus membership. That's a sensitive subject for me. I do not want to touch on it.
And there will be sensitive subject for a lot of people. Do you see how people said when Sony extended everybody's PSN for 5 days after the outage, and they boxed them out of this deal because they said they couldn't. By the time they could renew it, it was after this sale was over. So
come on,
wow,
yeah, because they were like, man, it's like I didn't need the 5 days because they had locked it in where they were renewing it every year for this sale, so they can get the biggest amount. So.
Oh, so that kicked them past that date. The 5 days kicked them past the normal renewal date. I thought about that because I was like, you know what? Yeah. I should time this. I should let it run out for 3 or 4 months and just pick it up on whatever that sale is.
Yeah.
That's not going to work for me either. I talked about this with you guys, and Brant's immediate reply was, stay on Essential. Okay, I guess I'm going to go that route. I'm happy with the free games they give me. I don't have much time to play the other beneficial tiers, and I think you might be right, Brant.
I mean, you're not clamoring to get easy access to Mist and Riven, so
I have them both. I've got them both, and I'm again, yeah, I'm different from. I don't know. I got a PS2 hooked up right there. I could slap it into. Might be even easier to just put the disc in and not have to download a copy.
It's even easier just to get up your PlayStation Portal and just stream it from there. So.
Could do that too. Yeah, as we've mentioned, these are good things for people that do not have ready access to a retro catalog like the three of us might. So those are your days of play titles. Now into games played. I'm going to be extremely quick and hand it off to Cesar. More Oblivion. Maybe 5 more hours of Oblivion since our last recording. I closed one more Oblivion gate that was kind of on my way in between the missions. But I'm still in that main mission that I mentioned, I would say last week, but earlier this week, where I'm headed to the Imperial City to talk to Baras, who's one of the Blades, and figure out where to go next to resecure the Amulet of Kings. Because a new emperor cannot be crowned in the land of Tamriel without the Amulet of Kings. So I'll be investigating that, but more fun with that. It's become my lunch break game. Great to play plugged into power. I don't dare be powerless and get 30 minutes of battery out of my ROG Ally, but it's still a lot of fun. So that is it for me for games played this week.
Nothing I played a lot of that I can talk about. So, I mean, I did a little bit more South of Midnight, but haven't got that much further I can bring up from what I brought in last week. So, outside of that, I'll pass this over to you, Brant. Finish it off.
Damn. Well, with all that being said, all those games being played, I haven't had a chance to play anything either. Because we recorded Monday, so just 4 short days ago. I do have some games acquired. I have over here 2 Switch games.
What you got?
Something that I sent to y'all. You had already said you knew of it and highly recommended, World of Horror for the Switch, which seems like it's almost like it's like a black and white old school horror game that looks very unique. And this is produced by, or at least it's distributed by Fangamer.
Playsum, I think, is the original publisher. I don't know who the developer was.
And this, being from Fangamer, comes with like,
don't do this.
What do we got? What's coming from Fangamer?
Comes with a little booklet in there, an actual like little manual booklet, and some little little art cards. Richard, you will remember the game I sent y'all earlier in the week.
Oh yeah,
called War.
Yeah,
got a physical copy of that.
That looked crazy unique.
Also, just in today, I got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Rita's Rewind.
Same thing.
Which
nice.
Actually looks like a really fun game. This is an Atari game. Done by Digital Eclipse.
Yep.
It's an old school beat 'em up, but it also has other elements. Like it shows that you like can pilot like the mechs and stuff, and it's up to 6 players. So you can have all 6 people running across the screen.
Think of a Power Rangers version of Splinter's Revenge? Shredder's Revenge? Not Splinter's Revenge.
There is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game.
Genesis, I think, was the beat 'em up.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there's one on the Genesis.
I
had it for Genesis.
Nintendo.
Yeah, Super Nintendo's the fighting game. Genesis is the beat 'em up.
You got it right, Cesar. But this is more akin to that Genesis version, I guess. But with these extra little pieces in there that shows them doing all sorts of little super moves and stuff. So this actually looks like it's a pretty good time.
What do I need to buy this for? Are we all going to stream it?
We can. I got a copy. I don't know. It's cross-platform. Is that everything you require, Brent?
Oh, I think it would be.
I don't know if it's cross-platform. If not, I can always get a digital copy on PS5. I got it on Switch, and then we can do the.
Also, Brent, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that because I also have said version of Switch you have. So
nice. And last but not least, I talked about the ridiculous.
It is not cross-platform. Storage. Sorry, Brant.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
Talked about the ridiculous storage space on the Switch and the need for more storage with the expensive micro SD Express. But Richard had
picked up the same thing
and recommended,
and mine was delivered the next day after you.
Walmart's brand ONN micro SD Express, which for the 512 is like $65 or something.
65.88 in Walmart currency, Walmart bucks, Walton bucks,
and I think those read speeds of like 800 and write speeds of 600 megabits per second are like a little bit on the slower end for these express cards, which I guess is to be expected since they're lower end on price.
100 megs less in both categories.
Yeah, but still, I mean, honestly, for the price, you can't beat it.
Right.
And you give it maybe a year, 2, 3 years, these micro SD express cards will be everywhere and they'll be a lot cheaper. So, and we can upgrade to like a terabyte.
I could filter this one down to one of the other Switch 2s we'll probably have in this household by that point. Since they're all of a sudden, all of the Switches in the household are fired up and playing again. It will be it Animal Crossing or Minecraft or Mario Kart, they're all in.
As long as you have multiple game carts for those systems and multiple accounts.
We had to do that bullshit. Did I tell you guys about that?
Yeah, because it's seemingly so. This was something I sent to Richard and Cesar about the virtual game carts and everything, and it does seem like Nintendo wants us. Unlike again, Nintendo has to do everything a little different, a little backwards. Whereas if you've got a PS3, a PS4, a PS5, a Xbox 360, or One or Series system, you get your console, you log in, set everything up, and then you can start re-downloading games.
Yeah.
From that you own. Well, the video example I sent Richard and Cesar, the guy got a quote unquote new, just regular Switch system, logged in, downloaded a free game, Fortnite, but because on his main system he already has Fortnite downloaded, it's linked to his account, it won't let him play it unless he turns it into a virtual game card.
Yep.
And then once it's turned into a virtual game card and technically virtually plugged in to the new system, well, now he can't play it on the old system as long as it's there, and vice versa. It's kind of ass backwards.
So here's my use case, and I kind of like, it's a 50-50 split for me. And this is the way we're going to have to do it. So I guess I have to like the part that I do like, right? I had downloaded like 4 or 5 years ago, they came out with a SKU where you got a Nintendo Switch Pro controller and a digital copy of Mario Odyssey. And I had one Switch Pro controller, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that. I'll have a digital copy of Mario Odyssey with the controller. That's perfect. That's a great deal. And so I've added that to my library, and apparently that was on my Switch. So I have a Switch OLED. That was downloaded locally on my Switch. My child, I told them, I guess they had borrowed the key card before because they went to the tile where Mario Odyssey was, and it had the key card thing, right? And it said, my child said, Dad, I need the game. I need the game thing. I was like, no, you don't. I have the digital one. Just go into downloads and re-download that, which is what we've done before. And then we encountered what Brant had sent us. No, you have to do the game key card thing. So I was like, okay, here we are. Brant just talked about this. I guess we're doing this thing. And I thought we could walk through it on their Switch, which is my launch Switch model. And no, I had to come down here and get the OLED and get it within proximity of that one to create the game key card to borrow from there. And everything worked fine. And it seemed like an immediate download. I don't know if they already had that on the system and they just authenticated with the game key card. Maybe I need to pick another game to test it with. But they were up and playing Mario Odyssey within 2 minutes of us starting this process. However, my other child has a Switch. They started up, they claimed to not have gone to Mario Odyssey tile on their Switch, but I believe they did, and it kicked the other child off of Mario Odyssey. I don't know what they were trying to do. Maybe that's a loophole in that before the game key card thing, we just used to authenticate with my account. So they would fire up the game and they would click my Nintendo Switch Online account and it would just work, right? And it didn't matter if they both played it or what. As long as it authenticated and hit online, I guess it was fine. But now with this game key card thing,
not anymore.
It's one at a time. Yeah.
One at a time per account.
Yeah.
You can't share it.
But the youngest child apparently very much loves Super Mario Odyssey. So maybe this is that situation. Like, I don't have a lot of digital copies of first party titles that way. It would just be a deal like that where I would get something. But I could just loan them the game key card. That's the game key card. The actual game cartridge at this point, and let them play Mario Odyssey instead of doing this whole revolving thing, trying to figure that out. So again, I think I'm 50-50 on this. I think there's some pros and I think there's some cons, and I'm kind of split in between, but I think it's going to work for our family. And yeah, I think I have physical, again, we are different than other users. We have that physical collection that overlap a bunch of these gaps for the digital game key card stuff. And we're also Nintendo Switch Online plus family members. And I think that gives us some perks too. But
oh yes, like the I didn't put it in the news or anything because it was kind of a random
the new
thing.
N64 stuff. Yeah,
but the update to N64
only for Switch 2.
Which, well, if you have a Switch 1, you can change and like map the controls for your N64 games,
which is good.
But for Switch 2, you get CRT filters and rewind,
which is better. Much better. Love rewind in retro gaming stuff and love CRT filters. They're must-haves. The example they used, the Nintendo account used, was a Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. And you can tell when you look at that animation and you look at those sprites, and not sprites, you look at those polygons in action, it's very obvious how that CRT filter blends the 3D character models against the backgrounds and stuff. It looks like it's supposed to. It looks like what it was designed for. The artist original intent of that game.
But I mean, these games aren't playing locally on your system. They're like basically streamed to it, right? I mean, so
I think you download them. They're small enough. I think you download when you update that Nintendo Switch Online, and you're not streaming.
You think it's just downloaded?
Yeah, they're that small of files. Remember, Chrono Trigger was what, like an 8 meg cartridge? Like it was a whole big deal that it was an 8 meg cartridge, and then a PS1 memory card was 8 megs. So you could save all of Chrono Trigger on a PS1 memory card. And N64 games were... What did they compress Resident Evil 2 down to? That was the big number, right? Was it 64 megs? So these are small downloads.
Yeah.
I think when you update the client, it's downloading everything. Because it's nothing. It's nothing on your memory card. Remember buying cartridges based off the size of the ROM included in there? Genesis was famous for that too. All right, is that it for games acquired, games played, and news? Are we done?
I think so.
The only thing I acquired. Yeah, the only thing I acquired was this.
What is that big box?
Oh,
the Fuga trilogy that just came out. Yeah, so Fuga Melodies is still.
So it's our read it for the audio,
Switch. I just did. I did. Fuga Melodies is Steel trilogy box.
What is that?
Switch. It's the games that are like the spiritual successor to Tales Concerto.
Oh, it's a big box. Are they Alice releases?
No, this is CyberConnect, the company we were talking about last week. This is their self-published games.
Okay.
Like, this is something they did without Namco Bandai. I think it's CyberConnect 4, if I remember correctly. Their fourth studio.
How many games come in the box?
3. It's a trilogy.
That's solid. Good collection.
I have one more thing, but I'm probably just gonna save it till. I'm probably gonna save it till next week.
Next week is probably going to be heavy with Switch 2 games and Summer Game Fest. Will that be by next week's show?
Oh yeah, because it's Friday.
Yeah.
Literally, we have Switch 2 coming out Thursday, and then Friday we have Summer Games Fest.
Y'all want to maybe do 2 shows back to back, potentially?
Is that gonna be possible?
We'll discuss. You're right. We'll discuss.
Because I was wondering if it was either gonna be a later in the week show or a skip a week or whatever.
We'll discuss.
We'll discuss.
Up in the air. Listeners, enjoy this episode. Listen to the previous 350 episodes, and we will get back to you on 352.
We'll be back at some point. That's all that matters.
Very soon.
We will not disappear on you.
Switch 2 in hand.
Hopefully.
Bad week to potentially not be on schedule, but we'll figure something out. That's how things go. All right, is that it for us?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.
Adios.